Hello viewers and welcome back to Let's Play Dragon Warrior. Since last time I did that level grinding up to level 8, which happens at 800 experience. Know that that's a lot, but it gets worse. One thing to notice when we're looking at our stats here is that our attack power is 32. We're going to want to keep that in mind for later, most definitely. While I was level grinding, I got quite a few encounters with just ghosts and things like that, so I wasn't quite getting that 1 to 2 gold ratio versus experience, so, I didn't make as much gold as I wanted to, so I figured that we would just get along the way to the next area we're going to visit. And for the most part, I'm not going to be editing out battles today, just because that's really where it's gonna hurt. I mean, you know, most of the battles aren't gonna take that long, and the ones that I do show off and do take a while are just because it's informative for you guys so you can see what I'm actually doing. Now, this is a very dangerous trip. I actually had to do this recording probably 2 or 3 times, I want to say, just to get to the next town. So it is a dangerous trip, so do be careful. And make sure you bring along a torch, so that way that you can see what you're doing in this cave here. And, you know, this part of the cave is fairly easy to get around in. So you could just head straight south, head right, straight south, right, and then down, and then left, and you would reach the staircase. Don't go to the right area of the cave yet, because we're not ready to fight the boss that's over there. So, when you get out of the cave here, make sure that you heal up quite a bit. You want your HP to be above 30 at least. And that's pretty good for this area. You want to make sure that that's where your HP is. Now, the tactic I'm going to be using here is called the sleep run tactic. And basically what that entails is you put the enemy to sleep and then you run away. Because when you put an enemy to sleep, you are automatically guaranteed to run away. Now, them doing that in an NES game is fairly impressive, seeing as how it requires another algorithm that takes up some programming space. Warlocks are the most resistant to sleep in this area, and he can put you to sleep as well, and then he'll just sit there and cast hurt on you over and over and over again, and you will die. I was actually a little worried there, but we made it. To the town of Remoldar. Now, one of these people is going to tell us. Ah, yes, this lady. Now, I heard in the original translation, she doesn't say, no, I have no tomatoes today. She actually asks you if you want a puff massage. So, but, you know, the puff massage is more of a Japanese thing. It's what you think it is. And they censored it in the North American version. Also, Dragon Warrior and Dragon Quest are one and the same. It's just a naming issue back in the day for copyright reasons, for one reason or another. There's a girl out there. I wonder how we get out there. So this guy gives us really good advice. You're going to want to stay out of the southern area here. We can barely survive the enemies that are here, enough as it is right now. So until later, after we do some level grinding and get better armor, we're definitely not going to head south. So the guy here tells us to go to the south, even though the guy that we talked to before told us not to go to the south. So, we're just gonna make sure that we're prepared before we go down there. You will call your friends your little 6x2 house. Or 3x2, which makes 6. Anyways, for the real reason that we came here this early, I have 1500 gold, so I'm going to be purchasing the broadsword. Yes, this weapon is absolutely amazing. It will serve me until I get the best weapon in the game. And the reason behind that is it gives us pretty good attack power. As you can see, that bumped us up to 42, so it's a plus 10, so it's not really that much when you think about it, but the weapons that you buy later on, they just don't give you much of an increase in comparison to the amount of gold that you have to spend on them, so it's really not worth your while. And the hand axe that you can purchase in Garenham doesn't give you enough attack power to compensate for its $500 price tag. Well, gold dollars. Anyways, so we're gonna go up around here, the outside of the village. Dragon Warrior games earlier in the series really liked to do this. You can walk around the outside of the village. It really allowed them to expand what actually went on in the village without actually making any colors or anything like that. So it actually didn't take up much space. And this guy here, we're going to definitely want to talk to, because he sells magic keys. Yes. So we're going to pick up as many as we can, which is 3 of them. And then we're going to go back in, because I went the wrong way. I thought that you could walk all the way around the village, but you can't. So we're going to go down and talk to this girl down here. Hopefully we don't walk out again. Haha. We have made it. So they decided to meet in the northeast or the southwest corner of town, and one got mixed up with the other one. I'm just gonna say this flat out, that the female is always right, so apparently Orwick is going to be having some relationship troubles. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to walk around outside for a little bit, because I'm actually going to be doing some level grinding. And what that level grinding will entail is fighting the enemies around here. So you guys need to see how I'm going to be doing that and what my strategy is. Alright, so this here is a wolf. He has quite a bit of HP. I believe he has up to about 37, 40, somewhere in that area. Now, as you can see, I'm going to be putting just about every enemy to sleep, just so that way that I can survive the area. Now, the wolf, he has a chance to wake up, and if he wakes up, he's going to do quite a bit of damage. As you can see there, I got hit with 10, and that's actually fairly low for only being equipped with the clothes. He can do upwards of 15 or 16, even 17 points of damage. So you're really going to want to watch out for this guy. That's why I recommended having your HP up into 30s and beyond. And this guy here, as you can see, he's hitting us in the teens. So this is actually what the average enemy is going to be hitting us for in this area. So sleep is very, very important. Now, I tried casting Hurt on this guy, and sometimes I have really good luck with it. I usually get like 10 points of damage, but I did as much as the physical attack. So right here, I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to cast the Hurt spell again after I put him to sleep, and leave my HP completely open. Normally I wouldn't take this kind of risk. I would put him to sleep and then try healing, but since he woke up after one round of being asleep, I really didn't want to risk it. Alright, so I'm going to level grind up to level 10 and I'll be right back. And here we are leveling up to level 10. Now my next goal is 3,000 gold, and I was actually hoping to have that by level 10. And unfortunately, I ended up dying. So, what happens when you die? Well, you get sent back to King Gloric, and you lose half your gold. Luckily, that only happened when I had like 700 gold instead of 3,000 or 4,000 gold. Yes, I will get into that a little bit later in the episode. But for now, we learned the Stop spell and the Radiant spells. The Radiant spell lights up an area, and the Stop spell prevents an enemy from casting spells. And I also lost my magic keys because I forgot to save, and I reloaded my save state, unfortunately. So I'll be purchasing those as well. Alright, so we have 3,000 gold here. I want to purchase this before I do any more grinding or anything like that, just because it's going to make the area a lot easier. It really does. You might have remember from last time that I mentioned that the damage calculation and the way the game calculates damage is different when you have a defense power equal to or greater than the defense power of an enemy. So, as you can see, our defense power is 19, but we're only equipped with the clothes, so we're gonna have a low defense power. Alright, so, don't buy the half plate, just save up the 3,000 gold to get the full plate, just because the half plate doesn't give you nearly as much defense per gold, and it really reduces your grinding time, and I think that it's worth it. So here we go. Wow, look at that defense power. That's 41. That's a 22-point increase in defensive power, which is going to bring us up to an equal attack point standing with the wolf. So we'll be able to survive his attacks a lot better this time. Which means that I won't be putting enemies to sleep as much, which saves on HP and MP. Well, mostly MP, not HP. You get the point. I can heal more. So, I'm gonna walk around here so that way that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Normally, the way that the game calculates damage is 2 points of defense reduces the damage that you take by 1 point. But here, as you can see, since my defense power is way higher than the skeletons, he's doing damage in the low single digits. So basically the way that I like to think about the way the formula works is the rolling dice in Dungeons & Dragons. The way that Dungeons & Dragons works is it takes your base attack power with the weapon equipped. Okay, so that gives you your base damage. Then you roll a dice on top of it, and then you take the dice roll plus your attack power, subtract the enemy's defense from it, and that gives you your damage. That's basically what happens when your defense power is the same as the enemy's attack power. But since your base stat attack power of your enemy is actually higher than your defense power, which was the case when I had the clothes, they get a bonus in damage, so they get to roll a bigger dice, or a dice with a bigger numbers on it. So what it's doing is it actually gives them a bonus to the actual damage they're dealing. So as you can see, my survivability in this area is much, much higher, just by doing this level grinding and gold farming. So, one thing we're going to do is we're actually going to head south, and we're going to check out that area down below. I think that would be a great idea, but I need to stay at the inn first, because this is going to be a long trip. A very long trip. Alright, so let's get to it. Before I go to the hardest part of the southern area, I'm going to try to show off some new enemies for you guys. It'll allow me to show some grinding on screen, so that way that you're not just seeing me travel from one place to another. Obviously, cast Stop spell on the Warlock, just so that way that he can get you in a lock where he can kill you. The way that sleep works is your enemies can stay asleep infinitely. But however, the hero, after the 6th turn of being asleep, you cannot not wake up. They put an algorithm in the random number generator, or the pseudo-random number generator, whatever you want to call it, that makes it to where you can't be asleep for more than 6 turns, so you're going to wake up. And when you do, that monster is going to pay. So, anyways, but the Warlock still can cast the Hurt spell on us, even though he wouldn't be able to do the physical damage to it. He could still kill you very easily with the Hurt spell. So yeah, I'm not going for high MP growth on this character. Sometimes I do, sometimes I sacrifice the strength and do an MP and agility growth character, and that does work out pretty well, but I personally feel that for an LP, doing more damage is going to be better for you guys. And I actually cut off meeting this guy here, the Wolf Lord, just because of the simple fact that it took me forever to get him to appear. And he's actually a really common enemy down here. I don't understand why it took me so long. So, but anyways, I am gonna fight this guy, and the bridge down there to the south is where I'm gonna meet you back after I go to the inn and rest up again, and I'll be right back. So here we are, we're down here by the bridge, and once we cross this bridge, we're going to get into a harder enemy domain, where the enemies are going to be hitting us in our lower teens to mid-teens. So we're going to want to be careful and keep our HP very, very high. The Wolf Lord is the weakest enemy of this area domain, and he can cast Stop Spell on you. Now, Stop Spell is kind of pointless, seeing as how you know your Stop Spell is, so why waste the turn? But anyways, once again, keep your HP high, or otherwise you're going to end up like me on my first trip. Yeah, this is what happens. Yeah, screw you, game. Yeah, so I tried to put this guy to sleep. He only has like a 3 16th resistance to sleep. I should have tried to put him to sleep again. I'll admit that. I made the mistake, but I still died. So anyways, the big thing with it is that putting these guys to sleep is not that hard. As you see, I got it on my first try there. This is my 4th recording, actually trying to go through this area. And watch my insane luck. I died each of the 3 times to the same enemy, trying to put them to sleep. How does that work? Anyways, so I actually want to share a little story with you guys. Part of the reason why I love this game so much is because it doesn't brutally punish you for exploring. Normally, if you run into an enemy that's a lot stronger than you are, you can get away. So, unfortunately, this guy doesn't believe us that we're the descendant of Erdrick, so we're gonna have to find proof of our heritage. So anyways, the story is I was running around outside Remolder. I was trying to grind up the gold to get the magic armor, and I was at about 4,500 gold. Now, to the west of Remolder, if you get to the far west, you could actually run into the end game level enemies, because the monster domains are kind of done a little bit choppy in the NES version of the game. So it's actually very, very difficult to gauge exactly where your new enemy domain is. And well, I ran into a creature called a werewolf. I was level 8 at the time. And a werewolf, I don't take those guys on at level 13 or 14. Yeah. So, needless to say, I ended up dying. My grandmother was sitting there and she asked me to hand her the controller because I was getting very frustrated because I couldn't run away from him and I had run through all of my herbs. And so she was trying to put him to sleep and heal and all this other stuff, but she could not get him to go to sleep. And eventually he killed me. And I have such nostalgia for this game that to this day, when I see the words "Thou art dead" in the blood red that the screen goes, my blood just runs cold. It's insane the impact that a game can have on you as a human being. And that is why I love this game. Because it can make you feel like you failed. Like, it is literally game over. You don't want to pick up the game again and try again. And it just... Dragon Warrior 2 does it so much better. I cannot wait to show you guys that game. So, but anyways, I'm going to do a rest up here at the end, and I'm actually pretty close to calling it an episode. Yeah, there's not really too much more to talk about. As for what I'm planning to do, I'm going to do some more level grinding and some more gold farming to get up to level 12. So that way that I can survive the Wyvern's attack power, which will bring up my defense to 56. So I'll be able to do that. I also want to max out the amount of magic keys that I have, but until then, I'll see you later.